How is it going, ladies and gentlemen? Bringing you another custom moveset video, and this time it is the infamous mixed Pikachu, yes. Pikachu has always been the mascot of Pokemon, everyone knows that. But Pikachu is definitely not one of the things you first consider when you want to play competitively, you know? And the one thing that gives it some kind of competitive edge is the item, Light Ball, which I guess they thought, oh, Pikachu's like the mascot Pokemon, so we'll give it its own special item to make it actually good. Light Ball doubles the attack and special attack of Pikachu, and I don't think it does anything to other Pokemon. It might just paralyze them, I forget what it does, but... yeah, the item's unique to Pikachu, and it definitely makes for a pretty good mix sweeper in my opinion. Someone described it as like a wall breaker type thing, which, to be fair, I thought fit the description better when I heard them mention it, but then I tried it out and I kind of thought, well, actually it's mostly used just to sweep up like the broken remains of Pokemon that are left on the field, like a real late game sweeper, so I don't know, call it what you want. It's a pretty good mixed attacking Pokemon anyway. So the actual attacks, right, Nature, Lonely, which is plus attack minus defense. Pikachu will not take any physical moves anyway, so it doesn't matter about defense. Static is there just because I think Lightning Rod is illegal with extreme speed, but correct me if I'm wrong. If I am wrong, then obviously go for Lightning Rod. EVs, max attack, max special attack. You know that's my thing, that's what I do. And I think it hits like 400 and something in both stats. I can't remember the exact number, but with Light Ball, yeah, it's definitely a pretty big threat. There's definite potential there. T-Bolt, your bread and butter move, is going to hit stuff like Torkoal, Alomomola, anything, like that's going to be your main hitting move to anything slow, like most walls. Hidden Power Ice is just good for coverage. It'll hit stuff like, you know, any grass types, Tangela, Torterra, any of that kind of stuff. You get the Bolt Beam coverage going on, you know? E-Speed will be probably the main way you kill stuff, just because E-Speed is an amazing move. Out-prioritizes anything except other E-Speeds, and obviously that's going to be a way of taking down sort of fast sweepers because you have no speed investment. That's the price you pay for being a mixed sweeper. And then Brick Break. Brick Break is just there for coverage. I barely ever need to use Brick Break, but it's good for stuff like Lairon, Bastiodon, Probopass. I mean, there's not many situations where you'll want to use that over T-Bolt in my opinion, but, well, you know, Ice types as well, so it's got some decent usage, but honestly, E-Speed and T-Bolt are going to be your main damage dealers, in my opinion. So I put a few damage calcs on the screen here. Essentially, you will always be trying to attack their weaker side of the defenses, and the damage calcs here are done with like standard movesets. So the Alomomola, that's standard physical defensive Alomomola. Oko's every time, that is brilliant. Okoing an Alomomola is definitely the one. And then of course, if it is special defensive, it's not gonna Oko, but it still does like 90% or something, I think. The Tangela, 2-hit KO on the standard physical defensive Tangela with HP Ice. And obviously, if you can get it to switch into a T-Bolt or something, that's great because you can then take it up next turn. Bastiodon and Probopass, I don't know what's more standard to run. I did a calc on special defensive just because I think in my head that's the most likely. But then again, I run physical defensive Bastiodon, so that calc was done on special defensive, so you got a pretty good chance to Oko with Brick Break. But obviously if it's got Sturdy, you know, if you can break Sturdy with rocks, you got a pretty good chance of just killing it outright with a Brick Break. And then Probopass, yeah, I guess it's pretty similar, so as long as they're running special defensive, Brick Break is going to tear through them, honestly. Now, I showed 3 walls there, and there's 3 sort of common sweepers down the bottom. So, standard max attack, max speed, Swellow. E-Speed does about 70% to it, which is not too bad, so if they switch into Stealth Rocks, you've got a decent chance just to straight up Oko it from there. And Swellow is something like, obviously you'd want to use T-Bolt, but it is definitely going to outspeed you given that you have no speed investment, so it's sort of like E-Speed is pretty much your only way to take it out. And E-Speed pretty much is the only attraction to Pikachu. I mean, yeah, Light Ball gives it great special attack and attack, but you could use something else like I don't know, Ampharos or Electabuzz, and it has a lot more bulk. But Pikachu, the fact that it gets E-Speed definitely is the unique selling point here. Definitely a great move to have around. It will destroy any fast sweepers like Zangoose or Swellow, provided you can get a bit of prior damage on them. Now Braviary, this is the standard like Smogon set for bulk up Braviary, which I think is max HP and then like 190 SPDF or something. And T-Bolt does about 80-90%, which is pretty damn good, considering Braviary isn't exactly frail, and you should be able to outspeed it because Braviary, I don't think these run any speed investment, and you'll naturally outspeed anyway, so that's pretty damn good. It means that if they switch into Stealth Rock, that's a guaranteed kill, my friends. Braviary is a goner. Now this one is my absolute favourite. Jinx. Jinx is a big ass threat, and I don't know how it got moved down to NU, but we got to deal with it here in NU, and one of the best ways to deal with it, Pikachu, Extreme Speed, OHKO's Jinx 50% of the time. Is that 50%? I can't read on my screen here, it's a tiny little preview screen. But it's a good chance. You will OHKO Jinx most of the time, and that to me is hilarious. Jinx has like base 10 defense or something in fairness, but E-speeding a Jinx, you know, you don't have to rely on Sucker Punch in case it has like Sub or something. So definitely a good thing to have around with the frail sweepers. And now I will show you a little bit of gameplay just to show off the set a bit. Okay, game number 1. Kenny's Legion, which doesn't have Kenny in the team, incidentally, get wrecked by an explosion from Licky Licky, which I didn't know it even got. That's pretty cool. In comes Combusken, which is weakened from earlier. Go for T-Bolt because I should outspeed on the first turn, but after that speed boost, he'll outspeed me. Psych! I have E-speed, of course. Gonna take it out from there. Torterra comes in, probably thinking he's safe because all I've shown is T-Bolt and E-speed, but guess what? I have HP Ice. And now Electros is definitely bulky enough to take any single hit. Like, E-speed would do about maybe 50%-ish, but, you know, I definitely can't take a flamethrower. Pikachu is pretty much the definition of glass cannon in NU, really. And I'm a big fan of glass cannons, you guys know that. Wartortle comes in, takes an E-speed, dead from there obviously. In comes Torkoal, and I just sack this thing to Electros, which I guess is Expert Bet or something. And all I have to do is get off a bit of prior damage with Volbeat's Ice Punch there. That is a fully offensive Volbeat, don't mess. Go for the E-speed, take it out. In comes Ninjask, obviously that would die to an E-speed, but I just take it out from there. Or he runs, rather. Now I go for a Wish on Alomomola against one of these standard, like, Acrobatics Drifblims. Going to Pikachu to pass off the Wish because I feel like I can take an Acrobatics. And Jinx comes in, which I guess is Black Sludge Trick or something. And I E-speed it, it's dead, that is fine, that is absolutely great. Now Lopunny's in here, and I get wrecked by this Life Orb. So I go to Volbeat, just gonna go for that Tailwind and then Ice Punch, predicting Golbat, I guess. Go back to Pikachu, Brick Break, gonna take out Bastiodon from there. Yes, excellent. In comes Life Orb, and I think Foul Play would have killed me, and he would have been faster, so I don't know why I didn't go for that, but gonna go for Brick Break, kill that. I can live in Acrobatics, go for T-Bolt, take that out. By some miracle I outspeed this Golbat. I guess it was going for Whirlwind or something. Maybe it only had like Super Fang as its attacking move, but take it out there with a T-Bolt, and that is going to be the end of Golbat. So Mex Pikachu, do not mess. Mex Pikachu has some extreme power. If you can pair it up with something like Lopunny, or like anything with Tailwind, you can easily pass off a Sub, or obviously benefit from the Tailwind, and easily cause some damage. Like, speed is the only thing letting it down. Obviously that's sort of the price you pay for having a mix sweeper, but if you can get it in some kind of good position, you pretty much are guaranteed at least one kill because it can hit everything. There's nothing I can think of which really walls it completely. Maybe like, if there was like a bulky ghost type in NU, that would wall it pretty well. Or something like, maybe like max speed Bayonet or something. I think that outspeeds a 0 speed Pikachu. So obviously you want to get out in that kind of situation, but no, apart from that, it's pretty damn fun to use and definitely effective in my opinion. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you tried it out, tell me how it went, and if there's any improvements you suggest to the set. But with that being said, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.